Part 2. I joined the regiment. Lugging a suitcase tied with traditional knotted string, I made my way to headquarters 56th Heavy Regiment Royal Artillery. Using sign language, they redirected me to D Battery. They were stationed in a building called Worthingholme, an evacuated girls' school in Hastings Road. As I entered the drive, a thing of singular military ugliness took my eye. It was Battery Sergeant Major Jumbo Day. His hair was shorn up his neck and seemed to go straight up the back of his hat, and his face was diffused red by years of drinking his way to promotion. "Oi, where you going? This ain't a girls' school no more." "Isn't it? Never mind. I'll join the regiment instead," I said. He screwed up his eyes. "You're not Milligan, are you?" "Actually, I am." A beam of sadistic pleasure spread over his face. "We've been waiting for you," he said, pushing me ahead with a stick. He drove me into what was D Battery office. The walls, once white, were now thrice grey. From a peeling ceiling hung a 40-watt bulb that, when lit, made the room darker. A jankerwaller was giving the bare floor a stew-coloured hue by slopping a mop around, rearranging the dirt. On the wall was a calendar with a naked tart advertising cigarettes. Below it was a newspaper cutout of Chamberlain grinning upwards. Fronting the fireplace was a trestle table covered with a merry grey blanket. A pile of OHMS letters, all addressed to me, were tucked in the corner of the blotter. In the lid of a cardboard box was a collection of rubber bands, paper clips, sealing wax, string, and a lead weight. My pulses raced. Here was the heart of a great fighting machine. Seated behind this mighty war organ was middle-aged, pink, puffy-faced man in his early 50s, wearing a uniform in its late 70s. Parts that had frayed had been trimmed with the leather. These included cuffs, elbows, pockets, gaiters, and all trailing edges. For this reason he was known as Leather Suitcase. His maiden name was Major Startling Grope. "This is Gunner Milligan, sir," said the BSM. When they'd both finished laughing, the Major spoke. "Where have you been, and why are you wearing civilian clothes?" "Well, they wouldn't let me on the train naked, sir." "I mean, why aren't you in uniform?" "Well, I'm not at war with anybody, sir." "Silence when you speak to an officer," said the BSM. The Major, who was fiddling with a rubber band, slid it over his finger. "Does this mean we're engaged, sir?" "Silence," said the BSM. "I suppose," said Suitcase, "you know you are 3 months late in arriving?" "I'll make up for it, sir. I'll fight nights as well." All these attempts at friendly humour fell on stony ground, and I was marched to a bare room by a bombardier. He pointed to the floorboard. "You're trying to tell me something," I said. "Your bed, right?" Right, bombardier." "Oh, I'm a bombardier already?" "Ho, cheeky bastard, eh? Got the very job for you." He gave me a scrubbing brush with 2 bristles, showed me a 3-acre cookhouse floor, and pointed down. He was still trying to tell me something. Leering over all this was the dwarf-like battery cook, Bombardier Nash, who looked like Quasimodo with the hump reversed. He was doing things to sausages. 3 hours scrubbing, and the knees in my trousers went through. To make matters worse, there were no uniforms in the Q stores. I cut a racy figure on guard, dark blue trousers gone at the knees, powder blue double-breasted chalk-striped jacket, lemon shirt and white tie, all set off with a steel helmet, boots and gaiters. It wasn't easy. "Halt! Who goes there?" I challenged. When they saw me, the answer was, "Piss off!" I had to be taken off guard duties. In time, I got a uniform. It made no difference. "Halt! Who goes there? Piss off!" Words can't describe the wretched appearance of a soldier in a new battle dress. Size had nothing to do with it. You wore what you got. Some soldiers never left barracks for fear of being seen. Others spent most of their time hiding behind trees. The garments were impregnated with anti-gas agent that reeked like dead camels and a waterproofing chemical that gave you false pregnancy and nausea. The smell of 500 newly kitted rookies could only be likened to an open Hindu sewage works on a hot summer's night by Delius. To try and cure my BD, I salted it and hung it outside in thunderstorms. I took it for walks. I hit it. In desperation, I sprayed it with eau de cologne. It made little difference, except one night a sailor followed me home. Overcoats were a huge, shapeless, dead loss. If you wanted alterations, you took it to a garage. But the most difficult part of army life was the 0600 hours wakening time. In films, this was done by a smart bugler who, silhouetted against the dawn with the Union Jack flying, blew reveille. Not so our badgie, or bugler, who stayed in bed, pushed the door open with his foot, blew reveille, and then went back to sleep.